Greetings everyone, this is Mozard. This is going to be my third MAS vlog. In fact, this was the last accident that I had. Hopefully, I don't get into any more accidents after this. Let's begin. Number one, how did the accident happen? So I panic braked, lost balance, and I crashed. Number two, when did the accident happen? So it was in the fourth quarter of 2016, a couple of months just after I bought this motorcycle. Number three, where did the accident happen? So that right there is the accident spot. This particular road is called the Jiyaguda Road. Over there is the Purana Pul, which you might recall from my second MAS vlog. And over there on the right side is the Jiyaguda Goat Market, which I think is the largest goat market in Hyderabad. And on the left, just opposite to the goat market, is an open air abattoir, which generates a lot of organic waste and it is not disposed properly. And I'll tell you in a minute why that is important. Number four, why did the accident happen? So on the day of the accident, at my workplace, the workload was unusually high. And due to certain circumstances, I got really irritated. So in the evening, when it was time to finally return home, I began my return commute with an agitated state of mind. And that was my first mistake. Normally, that's not what I do. So because I was riding in an agitated state of mind, I wasn't paying attention to what was happening on the road and my judgment was clouded. In a matter of speaking, I was riding in autopilot mode. I was completely at the mercy of my reflexes and my muscle memory. So even with that, I was able to ride all the way till here without any problems. Now this road has a speed limit of 60 kilometers per hour, but the average speed on this road is 45 kilometers per hour because of the factors affecting the nature of this road. And one of those factors is stray dogs. There are a lot of stray dogs in this area, and that's mostly because of the improperly disposed organic waste that is generated at the abattoir. It serves as a breeding ground for these stray dogs. Now, I follow a principle that I made for myself, and according to this principle, the average speed becomes the speed limit in areas that you identify as having a higher risk of accident. And this is one of those areas. This area has a higher risk of accident because of those stray dogs. So even though the speed limit is 60, the average speed of 45 acts as a speed limit. Now, unfortunately, just before I crashed, I was actually doing 65 kilometers per hour, and that was my second mistake. If you take into account the speedometer error, which is about 10% on this bike, technically I wasn't exceeding the speed limit, but I was way above the average speed for this road. Now, just before my crash, there was an auto trolley parked right over there. And when I got to this point, a dog suddenly jumped out onto the road from in front of the auto trolley. And when I saw that, I immediately grabbed my front brake lever, my clutch lever, and I slammed the rear brake. And all of that resulted in my rear wheel locking up, my motorcycle fishtailing to the right, and I went into a sliding crash similar to a low side crash. Now, when I made contact with the ground, I was actually on my back and I was sliding on my backpack. At the same time, thankfully, I got separated from my motorcycle. If I had gotten dragged along with the bike, the damage would have been much more severe. So I was sliding for about 10 meters, I think, all the way up till here. This is where I came to a stop, and my motorcycle went a little further ahead. Once again, emphasis on the fact that I did not get dragged along with my bike. Now, after I came to a stop from the slide, I was just lying there and I was just smiling to myself. I wasn't shocked or anything. I was just smiling to myself, and I kept repeatedly telling myself, please let this be a dream. Please let this be a dream. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And this is where things get interesting. There was this gentleman, a good Samaritan, who became a really good friend of mine. He was about 3 seconds behind me before I crashed, and he actually witnessed my crash. And he also saw the dog run off into the distance in those bushes over there. So He immediately parked on the side and he dashed to my motorcycle. He killed the engine. He took the key out and then he came back to me and he checked up on me. And after that, he helped me sit up on the curbstone. And once I regained my senses, I examined myself for injuries. I had a slight aberration on my left knee, but other than that, I was perfectly fine. Now, after that, I wanted to check up on the dog. And this gentleman told me that the dog actually ran away into the bushes. And thankfully, the dog did not get dragged into the accident. After that, I went over to my motorcycle to examine it for damages. The handlebar was bent slightly, and this panel, the paint on this panel was shredded, but the panel itself was intact. Overall, the motorcycle was in a perfectly rideable condition. So from here, we went to a nearby clinic where I cleaned and dressed my wound, my aberration. And then from there, we went to the Suzuki authorized service center that I usually go to, and I dropped my motorcycle off there. And I called up my insurance company and filed a claim. And then after that, I went to a medical diagnostic center that was nearby and got an x-ray done for my left knee just to be on the safer side. And thankfully, nothing was out of place. And throughout this whole ordeal, this gentleman accompanied me all the way till the end, and I'm really thankful to him for this. In this short period of time, we became really good friends. Number 5, what can be done to prevent such an accident? That is quite simple. You just have to avoid the 2 mistakes that I made. The first mistake was riding with an agitated state of mind, and the second mistake was breaking the speed limit. Now, in my case, the second mistake was because of the first mistake. So as far as the speed limit is concerned, do not break it, no matter what. There is absolutely no reason to break the speed limit. Coming to the first mistake, before you begin your commute, this usually happens with the return commute, but for the sake of discussion, let's just say any commute, right? Before you begin your commute, if you are exhausted or frustrated or irritated or agitated, just sit down somewhere and try to relax. If possible, try to lie down and have a short nap, a power nap, right? If that's not possible, then go down to your cafeteria and have some refreshments, maybe a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and just relax, just calm yourself down, right? Once you are calm and composed, only then begin your commute. If you begin your commute with an agitated state of mind, you will end up making stupid decisions that you might regret later on. And if nothing works, then just remember that there are people waiting for you back at home. Hopefully that gets you motivated, right? So over there is your open air abattoir, and over there is the goat market. Yeah, this is how it is every morning. Pretty chaotic. Now, I sped up to 65 kilometers here. And this is where it happened. Let's show you guys the prawn pool as well. Right, so that was my third MAS and most likely the final MAS vlog. Thank you for watching. Ride safe. I'll see you in the next one.